The big game is fast approaching, but wait, you still haven't got your tickets. You've spent hours searching, but you're still confused about ticket prices. Time to stop searching. Visit ticketcompare.com. We compare ticket prices for all the popular leagues and tournaments for you. We work only with the most trustworthy sites, so you can have peace of mind when buying your tickets. Compare prices, buy tickets, get to the game. Ticketcompare.com. Buying tickets made simple.
Okay, morning, Eddie. First of all, any team news, any new injury concerns or anyone back from injury?
No, we're pretty much as we were. No fresh injuries from the game. A couple of knocks, as you'd imagine, but nothing out of the ordinary.
Been creeping towards that 40-point mark that everyone talks about. A couple of draws and a defeat. Is it frustrating, even though you're probably safe? Is it frustrating that you haven't quite got there, made it for certain, if only to stop us asking these questions?
Yeah, I'd love to finally end the position we're in because, we've been creeping there. Been hard to beat, got a lot of draws within the recent sequences. Our form since Christmas, as I've said many times, has been really good. A frustration that we haven't really kicked on and found the fluency in our performances that we crave. So, we've got 4 games to do that, starting against Manchester United.
I think you got 46 points last season. You're on 38 at the moment. 4 games left. Can you see yourself eking out those points to match or beat what you did last season? And is that a motivation for you at this stage of the season?
Well, I think we are exactly the same position we were this time last year. We finished really strongly last season, so the challenge is there for us to do that again. It is a motivation. It is something that we want to do. We've improved every year. Our league position as we've gone on. So, our target at the start of the season was to do that again. So, these are important games for us.
Simon Francis said after the game the other day, said that at times you were too passive against Liverpool. Can we expect to see you sort of more on the front foot, more attacking against Manchester United?
Yeah, we had a game plan going into Liverpool. I think that was difficult when you concede so early. Now we respect, Liverpool were excellent on the day. Their attacking 3 gave us real problems. So we were passive to a degree, but I think that was forced from how Liverpool played, to be honest. Certainly wasn't our intention to be that deep in our half, defending half. But we stayed in the game, and I think until their second goal, which was an outstanding goal from their perspective, until that moment, I think we were well in the game. So it was a huge frustration to concede that second one.
There's talk of Jose Mourinho making big changes, whether for this game or the Cup semi-final, talk perhaps even dropping the likes of Pogba and Sanchez. Would you prefer to face a Manchester United without the likes of Pogba and Sanchez? Is that good news for you?
I'm not sure, because that means Rashford and other players come in. So I don't think it matters, to be honest. Whoever they pick, they play for Manchester United. They're top quality players, internationals. We expect to play a top team.
A top team, but we were encouraged by what you saw against West Brom, the difficulties they had. It seemed to be quite a flat performance from Manchester United.
A difficult game, I think, on many levels. We played West Brom here, and it was a really tough game for us. So it's the Premier League, and any team you play, regardless of their league position, the games can be really difficult if you're not at your best levels. So I wouldn't say that result performance particularly shocked me, just because of the competitiveness of this league. It is such a difficult league to put teams away, to win games. We found that this year. We've been in every game. Some games have been really tight. We haven't perhaps got the wins that we really want, but we know how difficult it is to win. So that's the Premier League, and that's why the league's so watched by everybody, because of the tightness of the games.
What do you make of Manchester United? They've come for a lot of criticism, the style of play this season. As individuals, there's been a lot of criticism as well, but they're still finding themselves second in the table at the moment. So has perhaps the criticism been fair, or as a manager do you look at them and think, well, they're second in the table, you can't really argue with that?
I think you've summed it up quite nicely in your question, to be honest. They're second in the league. And in this league, with the quality of teams this year, and I consider the big teams have really improved. And I think the quality has been higher than it's ever been. So when you see that Manchester United are second, I think they have to view that as a really good season and progression for them, and their eyes on returning to where they want to be. They'll feel they're going in the right direction. So that's how I would judge their season. I think it's been a big success.
You've come up against United a few times in recent years. You've beaten them, you've drawn with them, you pushed them close, and I think a lot of people would say unlucky to come away with a defeat earlier on in the season. Do you relish these challenges against Manchester United? Does it bring something out of you and your team as well?
Well, I think we relish the games against the big teams. I certainly want that attitude from my players to really attack these games, to be mindful of the fact that a few years ago we'd have given everything to be in this position to even have this game. And I think we need that mindset to give us our best chance to win. We have done well against Manchester United, and I think in terms of our performances in general, we've been pretty good. As you say, in the game at Old Trafford earlier in the season, I thought we were really good in most aspects of our play. Obviously, the scoreline didn't necessarily reflect that. We lost the game 1-0, but it was really tight, and I was very pleased with our performance. So hopefully we can give a good account of ourselves and really get the crowd behind us, because I think the crowd will be a little bit frustrated, I think, with our recent performances at home. I think we really want to give them something to get their teeth stuck into.
A couple more from me, more generally. You mentioned a good season for United, and they've improved. The other big sides have improved as well, but above them all, way above them all, have been Manchester City, confirmed as champions. Just your assessment of City and their achievement to win it with 5 games to spare as well.
Yeah, I think they've been outstanding. I mean, the 2 games we've had against them, I think you've seen their quality. Although they beat us really late here, and it was an important win for them at the time, you could see their quality and what they were building towards. In the second game, they beat us comfortably, and that was a tough afternoon for us. But watching them from afar as well, doesn't matter who they've played, I think they've really put their stamp on the league in terms of their technical ability, their philosophy, style of play. I think it's been great to watch, apart from when you're playing them.
But they've so many points clear. When you look at them, is there that big a gap? You played against everyone in this Premier League. Are they that much better than everyone else?
Yeah, I think that's a difficult one to answer. I think they're an outstanding team, but I think there are outstanding teams alongside them. Again, for me this year, Tottenham, Liverpool now are developing into the team that they would want to be. And of course, then you add in United, Chelsea. That's what makes the Premier League what it is, with the quality of those teams. So I think the Premier Leagues in the future are set up to be intriguing battles.
Can you see them doing it again next year? Or do you think, you mentioned those other teams now, do you think they're going to...
Well, I think there'll always be a response, and other teams will always improve and try and find a way to beat them. So I think I wouldn't put anything past any of the top teams coming back and making a real battle of it. But certainly Man City will be the team to beat.
This one is the last one about VAR. We haven't spoken to you since the vote was taken of the Premier League. They decided they won't introduce it. They want more testing in the FA Cup. Was that the right decision from your point of view, bearing in mind what we've seen so far this season, and a particular incident in Germany last night? I don't know if you saw that one.
Well, I haven't seen it. I heard about it. Yeah, for me, I think it's the right call. I was a little bit reluctant at the start of the process, because making sure these things work and don't stop the flow of the game for me is everything. And when you've got a product, I think, that works, and a system that works, when you trust the referees to make the right call, right or wrong, and it's worked for so long, then why be in too much of a rush to change it? And if you are going to change it, make sure that you've got all the boxes ticked to say that it's foolproof, that the system will work and it won't disrupt the flow of the game. I think we've seen already that there's too many grey areas. There's too many things that we need to iron out to make sure the system is working properly.
Thank you.
Eddie, in every Premier League season you've beaten a big team or two. This one you've beaten Arsenal, Chelsea. That game at United, you had more shots on target than they did, and you've given City and Spurs problems too. So are you, as much as the top 6 have improved, are you guys getting closer as well?
I think at certain times, yeah, we have. I think the games that you mentioned, we've been really pleased with how we've performed. We have always, as you say, in every Premier League season, beaten some big teams, and I think they've been crucial to us staying up. You take those points away and it's been difficult for us. Yeah, I think we've learned down the years that if we perform at our very best levels individually and collectively, then we've got a chance to win. If we don't, invariably we get beaten, and that was probably how we were against Liverpool. 2 or 3 players played well. It's not enough. You need to be 8, 9, 10s, 11s to really give them a good game.
And are you naturally, as a team, going to be less passive, more aggressive in front of your own fans here?
Not necessarily. I think when we went to Chelsea, we were really aggressive in that game, and we won. We won the game. So I don't think the home or away thing really judges that. I think it's how you are playing on the day. And sometimes you can set up to play a certain way and the game pans out totally differently in terms of your aggression, in terms of how you want to get after the ball. So being at home, you'd like to think that will help us, especially if the crowd are good with us and we give them something to, as I said earlier, we give themselves something to really get behind. But I think that's really important, that we're not passive at home. I think that would be a big mistake.
You've used the word frustrating lots of times today. I wonder if it's been your most frustrating Premier League season so far.
I think they're all frustrating in different ways. I don't think you can label one more than the other. I always say because you're in this moment now, it feels that way. But trust me, every Premier League season has been so difficult. And I think that may well be the perception. I think is the only thing different this year is the perception from other people. Where people will expect you to stay up, will expect you to beat the big clubs, will expect you to do certain things, whereas the reality is you have to prove that and you have to go out and do it. It's not just going to happen just because you've been in the Premier League for a couple of seasons. So I think that's been the biggest change. And dealing with that is going to be a continual challenge for us.
And the frustration over continuous questions over whether you're safe or not. How conscious do you have to be that doesn't even subconsciously filter into the players' minds, that so much talk of that doesn't have an effect on them?
Yeah, I think it's too late for that, I'm afraid. I think after the West Brom game, everyone sort of had us down as safe in the media. And no matter how much I bang on about to the players certain things, I think that will seep into the subconscious. And we've had it before. We've had it in previous seasons, in both seasons, where people will hit a level and think, well, that's you done. And then you just lose an edge to your performance. And for me, it's one of the most frustrating things that I've had to deal with in the Premier League, because it doesn't matter to me whether we're safe, not safe. The principle is that you give your best in every game and you try and win every game. You maximise every opportunity that is in front of you. You can't take your foot off the pedal for a second in this league because you'll get punished. So, yeah, a lot of outside noise will get through to the players, and I understand it, but we have to have a better mentality than that to make sure it doesn't affect us.
So is there, when that happens, you can see it happen and there's no way of getting that edge back?
I don't know. I think it's, in some respects, that edge can make you play with a little bit more freedom. The fact that maybe the pressure of points is off. We found that at the back end of last season, so we got safe very late with a couple of big wins, and then we played with freedom in the last few games, and it was really enjoyable to see the lads play at a really good level. In some respects, it can work against you, where players just lose that 1 or 2% in terms of their intensity, and then games can become difficult for you. So it's all about making sure we use whatever strength that gives us in a positive way.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Just a couple of questions for me, Eddie. I'm here from the Chinese state broadcaster CCTV. They're particularly interested in you've had a romantic journey over the last decade, and what does it mean to a club like Bournemouth to be in the Premier League and to stay in the Premier League?
Well, it means everything to us. The games that we're talking about now and the preparation for Manchester United, just playing Liverpool, as I said, for me, the magnitude of those games never gets lost. They are games that we would have given everything to be involved in 5, 6, 7 years ago. And to stay in the league again for the third time will be another historic achievement. And that, from my perspective, never gets underestimated. So the challenge for us is to finish the job off this season.
It's fascinating how the club of your size, with a capacity of just over 11,000, is listed as the 28th richest club in the world. That shows you the might of the Premier League. It
does. I mean, it's incredible to say that again. If you'd have said to me a few years ago that we could be in that position, we wouldn't have thought it'd be possible. And the riches of the Premier League are well documented. From my perspective, for this club, it's a case of giving ourselves a chance to establish ourselves at this level, to build the club's infrastructure up, for hopefully the long-term benefits for future generations of Bournemouth supporters, that the club will be in a much better position because of this journey that we've been on. Okay, you've already covered it, VAR, but just a quick question on VAR. There was a game last night
in Germany, I know you haven't seen it, but they brought the players back on when they were already in the dressing room at half time. Is that a step too far?
Well, it sounds it, yeah, without knowing exactly what happened. That sounds absolutely ridiculous. I think if I was one of the managers in those dressing rooms, well, I suppose I'd have been happy if I'd been in the dressing room that would have had the penalty. But in the other dressing room, I wouldn't have believed what was happening. So I think that is a step too far. And I don't think we should lose faith in the referees. I think I think there've been some very strong refereeing performances this season, and I think we have to back them.
Yeah, just one final question on that. The Premier League have already announced they're going to delay it for another season. When they get it right, do you think it's going to benefit the game?
Yeah, I think it can. But I do think there needs to be a lot more tweaking done, a lot more testing done to make sure that the referees know, the players know, the crowd know exactly what's happening. So I think to rush it and bring it in without those testing opportunities happening, I think it would be a big mistake. Because of the Premier League, as I said, it works, it's entertaining as it is. And I think anything we do that could rock that for the negative would be a big mistake. And
to sign off, a message for your fans in China?
Well, thank you for all your support. It's greatly valued from us, and we'll continue to give everything to be successful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Eddie, have you warned your players? Are you all expecting a reaction from United having lost on Sunday and wanting to get that momentum back?
Well, I don't think it's a case of warning our players about United. It's about making sure that we look at ourselves and react well from the Liverpool experience. I think that experience at Liverpool could be a really good thing for us in the long term. As always with these types of games where we don't perform as we want, and we have an experience that was uncomfortable, we want to use that to make sure that we put that right and we learn from the situations that we could have done better with. So certainly I always try and angle it towards us rather than the opposition.
When you were asked about the prospect of United resting Pogba, etc., you specifically mentioned Rashford as someone who could come in. Is he someone you particularly admire?
Well, yeah, he was just one that sprung to mind. You look at their bench the other day, they've got Phil Jones on there, they've got other internationals that immediately you think that they possibly could play. But certainly it's not going to weaken them. And that's the beauty of playing for Manchester United. They've got a squad that, as I say, is full of internationals, full of players that can come in and do a really good job.
Because I was going to say, it's not just Rashford who's a risk, it's the likes of Martial can come in and be as threatening, can't they?
Well, exactly. As I said, they're top players. You don't play for Manchester United if you're not. So whoever Jose Mourinho decides to play, I'm sure will be very strong.
Everyone's mentioned how this is a bit of an unusual season in that so many teams are close together. Because of that, do you think it's particularly important more than ever that players don't let their motivation fall this time of the season, because it can be so damaging, because one bad result can be the difference between 4, potentially 5 places in the table, which is significant. It's not just dropping a couple of points. Yeah,
absolutely. I think you look at this stage of the season again, you can see down the bottom of the league how tight everybody is, and everyone's scrambling to get above the 40-point mark. And yeah, 1 or 2 disappointing results and you can tumble down the league. From our perspective, we've been consistent in our league position now for a while. Due to our form and the fact we've been difficult to beat, we've kept picking up points all the way through near enough. And we don't want to lose that position now. When you've worked so hard for the majority of the season, we've got to finish the season off as properly, and I think that's what we're trying to do.
Does that potentially make it easier with motivation as well? Because you can tell your players that just one good win and we're up to X, wherever it is.
Well, we shouldn't need motivation playing Manchester United at home. I mean, if I have to motivate the players for this game, I think there's a huge problem. The players will look at this, I'm sure, as an opportunity to play against one of the best club teams in the world, live on telly, in front of our own supporters. I mean, it's every player's dream.